Your work always tells a story. Let's have a close look.
Hello everybody and welcome to Close Look. I'm your host Pyle. Well, it's beautiful weather these days, a little bit chilly. Weather and emotions go hand in hand, right? Cold and warm, sadness and happiness. There's some people who are not too good with expressing their emotions. However, there are some who are gifted. Not do they express for themselves, but they also express for others by their work, whether they're writing stories, scripts, lyrics, or poems. And today we have a very special person, a talented person who expresses through her poems. Let's welcome Jaz Gill. Hi, Jaz.
Hi, Bio.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
I'm so glad to have you here, and I'm so happy to hold this in my hand, and we will talk about it. But before that,
Thank you.
I read about you that you started writing at the age of 10?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Tell me about it. What was the first piece you wrote?
My first poem that I wrote was called Dreams. And I was 10 years old, and that's when I started writing. And it was my support that I had in elementary school from my teachers.
Okay.
And that, allowed me to pursue my writing. And I was so young, and I was, I didn't know it was my passion. I didn't know it was my gift. I don't know what made me start writing. No one told me to write. And, I got married young and I had kids young. So, my writing, I wrote all through my teenage years. I have a collection from my childhood,
Wow.
which I will be publishing in a separate book in the
Awesome.
future. And then I put my passion on hold and not even identifying it, that it was my passion, my gift.
Really?
And with youth comes, you're not really aware, right? You're just living in a different kind of space, when you're young. And as I raised my kids and, was busy with family life, my writing was put on hold for a while. And I wrote the odd time here and there, but I didn't write very much. And it wasn't until 2011 and 2012 that I picked up my pen again and reconnected with my heart and started writing again.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say what made me start writing. There was, it was a hard time in my life, and maybe that's the reason that, my passion spoke to me.
You used your poetry as a form of expression.
I believe so. I believe it just came back to me at the right time. And I do believe in timing in everything. And I started writing again in 2011 and became more committed to it, never realizing where it was going to lead to or didn't have a bigger vision, because everything comes in steps.
Absolutely.
But it helped me express what I was going through and when I was going through a difficult time in my life, the words came to me easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I just continued to become more and more creative. And there was times throughout, the last few years that, the creative level just heightened.
Right.
And I remember
obviously-
one night I didn't sleep all night. I would go to sleep and then another poem would come to me. I would try to fall asleep again, another one would come.
Oh.
And that night I remember I wrote 14 pieces.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I didn't sleep. I just, every time I slept half an hour, wrote half an hour.
What did you eat for dinner?
Well, it was after dinner.
That's what I
I
said.
don't remember what I ate.
You ate something that arouses the
I don't
creativity in
know.
a person.
I don't know what it was, but it was a lot of writing that needed to come out, and then I had some key people in my life, in my journey that really guided me and kind of held my hand, on a personal level and on a spiritual level and also on a creative level as well. So I started in 2014. I became a member of New West Royal City Poets, and that was my first publication. Was in 2014.
Okay.
I was published. I had 3 poems published in their 2014 anthology.
Okay.
In 2015. So that was a real gift for me, and to actually have my passion and to be around people that share the same passion just elevated it to the next step.
Right.
So it just, it kind of propelled from there. And then being published was beautiful. And then I ended up getting introduced to Ariadne Sawyer, who is the president of World Poetry Organization. She had me on the radio as a guest, and then she had me on as a host for about a year after that, once a month. So I would host the radio station.
Did you get to recite your poem on radio
I
as
did.
well?
I did. I recited my poetry on the radio, and it's an international station. I believe in 69 countries.
Fantastic.
Maybe more now. And through that radio station, I got connected with some poets in Africa.
Oh.
So 2015 and 2016, I was published in 3 anthologies in Africa.
Wow.
Peace is
fantastic.
Possible and Muse for World Peace, in 2 editions of Muse for World Peace. And during that time, I knew my book was coming as well, so I've been working slowly on my book for the last couple of years.
Isn't that fantastic? You started as a 10-year-old. You continued with your passion throughout your teenage and youth, and then you got married, you stopped, and when you picked it up, look where you are.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So as youth, like you told me that once you started rewriting, it was more of an emotional thing because of, what you were going through in your life. But as youth, you already have those poems. What kind of poems were you writing then? Were they like full of life, or what were those poems about?
It's been a while since I've visited my poems from my youth, but they're more childish, they're more happy. But, my first one I never forgot, and it was actually not very childish. It was called Dreams, and I still remember it was very short. And that poem was, look up in the sky, and you will see the star in the heavens lying peacefully. The shiniest star, the symbol of your dream. Reach for it no matter where it's bound. Strive for it until it's found.
Wow, and you were 10.
I was 10.
That's beautiful
Yes,
for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, it was far beyond my years, I think. But
So it looks, it sounds to me that you've been gifted with the power to use the words in such a way that your feelings are just right there, out and about in words. Anyone who reads, it touches their heart. Because I've read some of your poetry, and it's so emotional. Okay, the first poem that you published, I'm forgetting the name. What was that one? Which one was that?
I had 3 poems published
In your first anthology.
the first in 2014.
Yes.
It was called Unbreak Me.
Yes, tell us about that. I really want to. Do you have it with you, or do you remember some of the lines? I really want to hear more of that.
I don't have it with me, and it's not in this book. I don't believe it is, but it's a poem that I believe a lot of people can relate to, and that's what I want with my writing. Is I want people to be able to relate to one another, and not just myself, but relate to one another, and be in a position where we realize we have the same emotions. We might have different scenarios going on in our life, but when we're broken, when we're full of like joy or hate or anger or peace, we're all in the same place.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what circumstances brings us there. And Unbreak Me, piece by piece, bit by bit. It's about trying to come together again after being completely broken. And I think our truest gifts lie, within the broken pieces that we are. And sometimes we're so afraid to be broken.
You know what? This just reminds me of something. There is a Japanese art, I don't remember what it's called, where when you have a piece of pottery or crockery and you crack it, they don't throw it. They use gold leaves and gold paint to fill up those cracks.
Yes.
So towards the end, it doesn't look like a broken piece.
Yeah.
It looks like a piece of art.
It's a masterpiece.
Yes. So, we're talking about breaking apart and how filling it back beautifully. It just reminded me of that. Okay, talking about your book, True Grace. Okay, I read that you've written poetry to heal. How?
I think when we allow our emotions to surface, that paves the way for healing. And that's what I wanted. When I was going through my journey, the writing helped me heal through expression. And I'm hoping what I went through, if someone's gift is not the writing, because we all have our own gifts. You know, by reading what I went through, and or what I write about, will allow others to connect somewhere, you know, inside themselves, and, you know, heal on a, you know, in their own space that they need to heal, right?
And I've also read about your book that it's almost like a journey that you go through. You know, when your heart breaks, when you fall in love, then your heart breaks, and then how the healing goes on. So tell us about that journey in this book. What's that? Where does it start from? What's the flow?
Well, I think the flow is, the title is True Grace, and that is the first poem in that book, is what the whole book is based on, is about, you know, if you want to read a little bit of it, that would be great.
Yeah, sure.
But the last verse of that poem really, really means a lot to me, and that is,
when the doors of hell have opened, but heaven has already spoken, we can see it in every face. This is true grace.
yeah. So, you know, that's what I, you know, I want people to kind of go through as they go through the book is, you know, if wherever they are in their life, you know, tragedies happen to everyone. You know, we're not brought here to live a smooth life, you know, a life that without pain. We're here to live a life, and that comes with all its, you know, contrasts, the good, the bad, and this is, you know, speaking to the, you know, the ability for our spirit to rise above that, and to leave, you know, the negative emotions behind. You can move forward in life, you can forgive, you can heal, and you don't have to hold on to anything negative in your life. You can let it go, and it's okay to let it go.
True. So, I know these are all your babies, and it's not fair to ask Mom who's your favorite baby, but I'm still going to do that. Do you have any favorite poem in there, in this book?
I have to say the first one is my favorite.
It is?
Yes,
All right.
and that is the reason the book was called True Grace.
True Grace.
But I have a few favorites, so it's really hard to say. And there's
I really like this one too, God's will. My purpose will be fulfilled if it's God's will. My dreams will come true, for that is God's truth. I will shine so bright only with God's might. I will lay at His feet, humbled in my sleep. And it just goes on and on, showing, you know, if you have trust, things are going to get back on path. It's a very positive way of thinking. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I noticed is each poem of yours is accompanied by a beautiful painting.
yes,
And I think Rita Kovnin is your co-author, who's
Yes.
a painter.
yes.
So tell us how you met Rita. How did this whole idea, which is beautiful, of having a poem and a painting go together? How did it come in place? It's very unique.
It is very unique, and it's very rare that this happens. To commission a painter for a book. These are not illustrations; they're paintings. It's costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so I was fortunate enough to meet Rita at a party in 2014. And she heard me talking about my writing. She shared with me about her painting. And, you know, that was the extent of our kind of, you know, getting to know each other. We ended up, you know, kind of getting to know each other after that. We exchanged our numbers, and she, you know, gave me a little bit of guidance, you know, with my writing, and, you know, and I was in love with her painting. Painting is very spiritual, very inspiring, and she's
And I've heard she does oil painting, print media, canvas, all kind of.
Yeah.
And not only that, you know why I thought this is a perfect match, you and Rita, because she does color therapy.
yes.
So you do emotional therapy,
Yes.
and she does her therapy
Yes.
through color. How
Yes.
fantastic is that? So does that mean she chose a specific painting to go with a specific poem?
Well, she's been on her journey with her painting for a long time, and you know, we met only last 3 years ago, in 2014. So she's been on her journey of, lifting her passion and bringing her passion to the world. And I've been doing my writing on my own.
Right.
So when we came together, and it was actually a mutual friend of ours, Krista Faye Burka, who is my meditation teacher. She's the one who recommended that we work together. And when I approached Rita in the beginning, it was kind of trial and error, right? And there wasn't going to be that many paintings first. It was only going to be 20, and then we ended up, increasing the number of paintings, because of some of the poems are longer. So I have 40 poems in there with 20 paintings, and the end result was that we spent one day where we decided the 20 paintings for the book together. So we would look at my poems, the title, we would look at all her paintings. She had them all laid out in her living room.
I see which one goes
And
best.
yes, which one flowed, which one resonated with our hearts, and it was funny because many times it was the same painting, the same poem that we chose. And so then when we were going to add more, she was on her way to adding more in. She added the extra paintings, and that's just from her doing it on her own. And Balboa Press is the publisher in the United States, and so this book, they really over-delivered, and under-promised, because I didn't realize the beauty that it was going to be.
It is beautiful. It
And
is beautiful, no doubt.
yes.
Well, good luck for
Yes.
your future poems that you're going to write, and for the book, of course. And truly, they're really nice, and the way you express yourself is beautiful. I hope to read more and more of your poems.
Thank you.
And if you want to buy this book, True Grace, you can go to amazon.ca. Thank you so much for your time, Jaz. It was awesome talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's time for us to sign out. Bye-bye. You keep watching Close Look.